Hello, everyone. We are here. You probably expected only me, but this curmudgeon turned up as well.
For
So
a few minutes.
just for a few minutes, yes. I think he just couldn't bear to be away, which is understandable, of course, because, I wouldn't want to be away for long from you lovely people as well. So who's here? Anybody? Nobody, maybe. Actually, yeah, maybe nobody. So we can say what we want, Sean. It looks like we're alone.
Yeah, but then it goes up. You have to stop it from going scheduled.
Oh, dear. Yeah. Well, we've got one person lurking there or viewing. Maybe they'll come and say hi. Of course, the thing is, it's a Friday, and a lot of people have lives, which means they probably go out Friday night. Whereas my Friday evening is going to be spent here.
Unless they're a student, then it's a few years ago I found out it was still the same thing as when I was a student. Thursday's a party night, and then Friday is when they go back home and spend if they go back home. So they're on their way home now. Students are.
That's probably true. Yeah, it's
And
like
I was surprised that it was still like that after like 30 years.
Sonia says hello. And it's 10 a.m., so she's still working. Come on, Sonia, it's Friday. You should knock off at 10:30. Jeepers.
She must
Hello
have,
there. Hi. Good to see you. Yeah. I don't know. What's it like in the UK? The weather-wise, I mean, not politically. Had enough politics last couple of days.
it's not too bad outside, I don't think, but it's still warm in here. I want to know the derivation of your channel name, the Great
That's
Jelly
true.
Library. What?
Why is it called the Great Jelly Library? Very good point,
I know
Sean.
what Great Jelly is, but why that with a library?
Very good point, Mr. Standfast.
You just spoiled it.
No, I didn't. But I realize nobody's going to see it when I put the comments there. That's the thing. Unless I'm here. You wish you could knock off at 10:30. Yeah. Well, I didn't have to work today, so haha.
Clearly, she does not work for the government.
Are you saying that public servants tend to knock off early on a Friday?
I'm not saying anything. I just said she must not work for the government. It's your interpretation without asking me what did I mean. Things can get dicey once that happens.
It can. It's true. It's happened a couple of times, hasn't it, recently?
Actually, I can see that a little better because you made it bigger, so I can lean forward. Thank you.
That's all right. I make it a point to help those less fortunate than myself. So, so why can you only stay for a short time, Sean? Are you gonna tell people why, or are you gonna keep it a secret?
I'm recording a Desert Island Books in 56 minutes, but I'll probably leave in about 45 minutes.
Yeah. So if you haven't checked out Sean's wonderful series, Desert Island Books, you should go and do so. It's wonderful. And you should start, of course, with episode 1. To be honest,
I've deleted episode.
It is probably the best.
Shut up. I've deleted episode 1.
It's probably the best episode, and it's all downhill from there. But yeah, definitely start at the beginning. So, dear. Yeah. So it's raining here. We've got a storm. That's why I got the light on already. It's getting darker. Winter's coming, as they say. So have you done any reading today, Sean?
A little bit, actually. I was actually just reading around, like nothing sustained, but I was just reading around a few things, like because I've made a few videos ahead, so I was reading a little bit of bits and pieces of stuff, refreshing my memory of a couple things. So, but I still can't do sustained. It's just my brain is just sort of mush. The concentration is difficult.
Thank you very much. However, we were just having a discussion about it before we started, in the fact that I'm from England. The way I speak, for me, poor rhymes with for, but Sean, it doesn't. So it doesn't work, I guess, if you're not like me and have poor rhyming with for. So yeah, it says 1984 by George Orwell. It's a kind of shirt I made as a joke, but now I see it's a rather limited audience. If you don't think that poor rhymes with for. So there you go.
Well,
But, it's quite
that
nice.
a better rhyme is stone and swan.
Storm. No. How do you rhyme those two, Sean?
What?
How do you rhyme those two?
There's a certain kind of rhyme that it says. There's a certain kind of rhyme. It's called, what is it? It's called assonance. I can't remember now. But I like in the one movie it says, "Oh, it means getting the rhyme wrong."
I thought assonance is. I thought it's like alliteration, but when you use vowels or when you use consonants.
The sound. I think like stone, swan, and I may be using the wrong term, but there is a term for that kind of rhyme, and it's called a rhyme. And I think it was in what's the movie with Julie Walters and Michael Caine? He's the professor, Educating Rita.
Yeah.
And then he tells her this, and she goes, "Oh, it means getting the rhyme wrong."
I suppose it's like water Majorca. Water Mallorca. No, I can't do it. So I know, Amy. Sorry. Hello, Declan. By the way, sorry. Apologies. And yes, I knew you were from England originally, but living in Sweden, where of course I used to live for a while, but a long time ago. I know, Amy. I know. Well, I am going to be solo. He's only here for a couple of minutes, just gate crashing, really. But I don't know if I'll be able to sustain it, to be honest, on my own. It will be interesting. Hello, MJ. No, I was planning to be alone, but Sean has a few minutes to kill, so I didn't want to deprive you of his charming appearance. So here we go. Grape Jelly Library. Carpeting installed is the same color as grape jelly. I dedicated my library to my granddaughter, whom I encouraged to grow up a reader. I picked a whimsical name to make reading more relatable. That's lovely. That's lovely. What color's your carpet, Sean?
Don't have a carpet.
Okay, so it'd be the naked library for you.
That works.
Oh, hello, Peter, back again. Glutton for punishment, I see. Favorite painting, Sean, go.
Ooh.
A nude, probably, but
I don't know. Well, I have. I'm trying to dig out of my convoluted brain. What's the painter who did American painter who did? I think it was called Nighthawks. Hopper. I really like his stuff for newer painter. But I don't know. I don't think I could. I have to really think about that. I don't think I would have.
He's the one who does the scene in the cafe, yeah? That's the one.
Yeah, that's Nighthawks. I think.
Nighthawks.
But my favorite one of his is of a movie cinema. It's a cinema, and there's the woman there with blonde or something looking down, and it's sort of looking past her in the screen. That's my favorite of his, but that's of his. But I don't know if it's my favorite painting of all. I don't know if I can answer stuff like that. That's too difficult.
I think it's easier to choose an artist rather than a painting, isn't it?
That would still be difficult. I could maybe choose a favorite painting by that artist, but I could maybe give you 5. Well, I can't even. I'd have to think about it to give you 5, say, top painters for me. That's another top 10.
Another video. There you go. And of course, you can include it in the mispronounced tag, because how do we say Vincent Van something or other?
Oh yeah,
Vincent Van Gogh. Vincent Van Gogh. So I don't know.
But I've always Vincent Van Gogh, so I don't know how it's pronounced properly. I've heard people butcher it in many different ways.
Thank you, Declan. But when Sean leaves, it's only going to be me, so probably everyone will leave, and it will be very difficult just to provoke only me, I think. So you can try.
What, do I get provoked easily?
Sorry?
Do I get provoked easily?
No. But what I meant is, it's like,
Oh.
we're more maybe inclined to, discuss things. Miss Jelly, the name's Flo.
Jelly flow. Hey, that actually has a side. I don't mean it as a bad thing. I just it rolls off the tongue nicely, actually.
So Jim mentions the Nighthawks there.
Yeah, Hopper.
And he
Yeah,
says Hopper's
yeah. He
his
probably
favorite.
put it up before I actually connected with my brain.
It's Jim continuing in his linguistic treachery from the land of his birth. I'll just leave it. And The Outsider by Gordon Bennett he likes, as well as Rembrandt, Renoir, and his favorite Europeans. I think mine would be, I like Gauguin, Paul Gauguin. I think I really like his paintings. And then probably, I quite like, oh my goodness, what's his name? He's a Czech impressionist, actually. Probably not that well known.
So he's not Czech, but he impersonates Czechs.
No, Slavicek, maybe Antonin Slavicek, maybe. But he has this painting. It's just one painting, and I just think it's absolutely beautiful. But I can't remember. I can't for the life of me remember the name. It's a woman standing in like this forest, and she's holding. I think she's holding an umbrella, if I remember right. But the light, the way it's, I'll have to find it and send her and put a link maybe. Jackson Pollock, Organized Chaos. Yeah, I don't mind his stuff though. Actually,
As long as you stand back far enough, and I don't mean that as like 10 miles. I don't mean it that way. But when you look up close, it's like, what is this? But when you go back, you actually can occasionally see some. But I was thinking of there's an art historian that did a whole bunch of really good art documentaries on the BBC. Graham Dixon or something like that.
I don't know. There's too many of them.
Okay, but he
Dixon Green, maybe. Is it somebody Dixon Green?
That's an old TV show.
No. There is like an somebody Dixon, not Dixon of Dot Green, but some Andrew Dixon Green or Andrew Dixon.
Yeah, it's Andrew Graham Dixon or Dixon.
Andrew Graham Dixon. That's right. Yeah.
But he did a whole bunch of stuff, and he did one on Russian painters. Amazing stuff. I'd never even seen any of that.
Well, there's one gentleman who's British, but he's got a very, very difficult Polish name, and he did two fantastic documentaries on British television years ago. One on Gauguin, the other on Vincent van Gogh, and it was fascinating. I have to say, really fascinating. Those are your favorites, are they, Amy? Super.
Canadian.
But like Sean, it's hard to pick a favorite. It is indeed. Ryan, Indeed, I'm not solo, but I will be probably in around half an hour, if not sooner. Jim giving his excuses because his audience are more Americans than Brits. But come on, Jim. Those Americans, they do have the capacity to know the difference between favorite with an O and with a U. You don't have to simplify everything for them like Philosopher's Stone or Sorcerer's Stone and that kind of stuff. I am joking, of course. Sean, did you have an incident yesterday with comments? I watched your channel video. See, he's doing his best to provoke, and here we go.
Yeah, it's mostly it was sort of a long-term thing where some people misunderstand something. Say, for instance, rather than asking, they attack the person, and not just me. I've seen it around too. That rather than say, "Oh, I didn't understand this. Can you explain this?" So, and there was just a couple things that happened recently that I just decided I might as well just make it clear of what I want to do and the way it's done. If you're going to attack me or anybody else, if anybody attacks another commentator on my videos, I'll immediately delete it regardless. But if they ask a question and open up a dialogue, perfectly fine.
And he follows that up with, I expect a 3-hour video from you guys as well. I think you might be
Yeah,
disappointed.
I won't be able to. If you need to
Jim
be on
says,
for 3 hours, you're going to have to be on for 5 or 6.
Jim says Turner's his favorite. Simon Sharma, he made a series on paintings.
Yeah, but no, that's it was Graham,
Yeah.
Andrew Graham Dixon that I was thinking of. But
Oh,
yeah,
Kelly's here. Adam Young Studios in Newfoundland. Contemporary art is more accessible for us.
Newfoundland. It's not Newfoundland. You said Newfoundland. Talk about pronunciation. Eh? What?
Newfoundland.
That's it. But you said Newfoundland.
Well, I was just being annoying. That's what I like to do.
Sorry.
Ryan hates those English words and Z.
Which English words? I've lost me there now.
Probably the ones with U's instead of next to O's. The one I don't like is mom. I mean, to me, mum just sounds nicer, doesn't it? Mum. Canadians are mixed in this. I have Canadian friends who spell M-U-M and others who spell M-O-N.
See, stuff like that doesn't matter. It's like center.
It matters, Dan. It matters.
The English spell center the French way, which really confuses me because there's this, banging heads historically against the French. So why would you do that? I always spell it E-R, and I'll spell favorite with a U, but I'll spell labor and neighbor with an O. Just with an O.
JZ and ZZ top.
Yeah.
That would be good, though, if they were. Starry, Starry Night. Yeah, that's nice. I always think of the song by, and I like that song. Don McLean, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Angel palette, blue and gray. The ones with U's next to O's, S's instead of Z. Yes. I have to, I don't know. I stick by it. I'm an anti-Jim in that sense. I will accentuate my Englishness because I think it makes me more exotic. Why fall in and write, the American way? Remain independent.
I've read several things of why in North America and in America they dropped the U's, and maybe not so much the Z aspect, but it takes up less letters when you're setting up the type, and so it was dropped.
It's true. It would cost you less when you're sending a telegram as well, I suppose.
Yeah, Amy's right. Yeah, because like I say, I will use various things. Like I'll say Z and I'll say Z. Like if you go to A to Z, I'll say A to Z because A to Z doesn't sound right. But then other times I'll use a Z because a Z doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I mean, I have problems when I'm doing the little kids, and of course, teaching them. And I have the song, the alphabet song, and I learned it in Bermuda, and I'm guessing English kids learn it too, but I don't know how the ending goes in England. Of course, I must have learned Z when I was a kid because it was like, now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me, right? Because it rhymes with Z. But of course, now I go, X, Y, Z. Now I know my ABCs. Won't you sing with me? It just sounds weird because, of course, me and Z doesn't really go together. And is that true that Amy says there about there's no specific Canadian?
Yeah, both.
There's no specific Canadian option because I've seen Australian options, but
what do you call the animal that sort of looks like a horse, but it has white or black stripes on it? What do you call that animal?
Zebra.
A zebra.
A zebra. It's a zebra. What's wrong with zebra?
So you should say Z. And you do. But you see, zebra sounds better. Zebra doesn't sound right.
Well, I do say Z. That's my problem.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But the thing is, it doesn't sound right. Zebra sounds so much better. It rolls off the tongue easier, I think.
Well, if your name's Zebedee, are you Zebedee or Zebedee?
That's what I say. Sometimes Z works and sometimes Z works better. That's what I was saying earlier.
I did indeed. Mostly bad words because I was like 11, 12, 13. And I mean, I had Swedish at school. I went to the international school there and we had to learn, of course, English, Swedish, and French. And I do remember a little bit, of course. I can say, hello, how are you? My name is Mark, that kind of stuff. And a few bad words, but that's about it. I'm guessing you probably speak it fluently by now. Color, color.
I need to look at messages to make sure everything's
Yeah,
okay.
no worries. Do you need me to mute you or are you?
No. These will be text messages.
See, Micah, of course, is a man of taste. He likes a bit of Starry Night as well. What have we got here? Have you been exploring the annotated? No, Declan, not yet. Waiting till September. It's the month for Dick's Detectives. So yeah, I'll be starting that. We'll be starting that in September. Have you got it? Are you going to read it? Well, you ask if there are any nuggets in it. Well, there is a nice nugget for Sean in there, I suppose. I haven't read it though, but there is a picture of someone Sean very much admires.
It's the most important picture in the book.
Maybe there's another one of her, which is even better.
It took me almost half an hour to find it before I did the video.
You?
I couldn't find it.
So you didn't know it was there?
No, not until you said it.
Because I just literally it fell open at that page, and I think you can see my surprise on the video. I'm like, oh,
and I couldn't find it. It took me half an hour to find it. I almost had to go page by page.
Mark's so formal. I bet he uses the long S too. Mark's not that formal. Maybe. MJ Zebra. Jim. Gotti, logically be pronounced fish. Fotti. Yes, well, I mean, that is...
What language is that?
It's English. You're saying that if you use the GH from like enough, then it would be fur. The O from women is like an I, so fur-e. And then the TI from station, sh, would be fish. It's Jim thinking outside the box there.
Well, it's like one time I'm in a call center and somebody calls in and spells something phonetically, and it was like xylophone, tsunami, gnat, and then I took this all down and he said, "Oh, you got that?" And he says, "Well, say it back to me," and I do the proper phonetic. He goes, "Oh."
So I have to ask Amy, which is your preferred choice then? I'm thinking UK English. I have a feeling you're probably a bit of an Anglophile. I might be wrong, of course. And from one Anglophile to another, we have Book Time with Ryan. I already know all the annoying pronunciations. That's Peppa Pig. Yeah. And my daughter says some things too, like post a letter or zebra. Yeah, you see? There you go. I like Peppa Pig. I watch that sometimes with the kids. That Miss Rabbit, she's amazing. She does absolutely everything. Deborah, zebra. Yeah. Piece of the book lover. I should start asking for some of your favorites instead of your favorite. Well, yes, I think that would be better. It's a bit of a cop out, but we do like that kind of thing. Deborah with a Z, zebra. With be the hot girl's name. It will be the hot girl's name in 2023. Kelly. Sorry, Z or Z. Got again. Zebra.
I was just trying to make the point that I think for me sometimes. What?
It's for you, Sean.
What do you think of Norm Shear? A very poor actress, but nice looking, and she was a star, but I didn't think she was a very good actress.
I'm assuming she's no longer an actress.
I don't know the exact when she died, but yeah, she's long gone.
what was I going to say? I was going to ask people here, have you started using or do you use Storygraph? I signed up for that today. It looks quite interesting. Do you use it, Sean?
I've never
Or you
heard of
just
it.
you keep it all in here?
I don't
It's
know
like
what that is.
you import your Goodreads list, and then it gives you all the statistics and graphs or graphs or whatever you want to say that show, like, how many pages you've read in a week, or how many pages you've read the month or the year, and all sorts of different things, how many times you reread a book, and all sorts of different things. And I thought it'd be kind of interesting to
I
know.
don't keep a list of it. So like I'm on Goodreads, but I just go on occasionally when to follow back somebody who's followed me. That's it.
Okay. MJ does, but doesn't keep it up. Oh, yeah. Norma Spirit died in 1983.
Isn't there a pill for that?
Sean.
1983. Wow. I didn't think she lived that long.
Oh, we have a new arrival. Hello, Joanna. Welcome to our what's becoming a daily live, but it isn't set to continue. I think we will pick a day or two in a week, won't we, Sean, where we will do it regularly, but not every day, of course. But the thing is, there is something of a buzz about it. I really like it, and the thought of not doing one tonight actually upset me. So I said I'll just do it on my own. And then, as I said, luckily Sean had a few minutes free, so he's able to join for a bit. I rushed to fill it in after the fact for the statistics. Yes. Yeah, but it can be quite interesting breaking down all the statistics. I think it was Shelley Swearingen's video I saw where she was doing that, and it made me think of it. Hi, Joanna. Super. Yeah. Excellent. So what's everybody reading? Might as well talk about books. We all keep coming back for the convo. Well, yeah, probably that's it, isn't it? The convo rather than the talking about books. So. Oh, dear.
Somebody throw a topic out, and we'll see if we can riff on it for a minute or two.
I'm scared letting them choose a topic, though.
Well, we don't have to take it, but we could see.
Here's your topic. No, the pyramids were not made by Terry Pratchett. They were made by the ancient Egyptians, and I won't have it said any other way. I guess that's what you're reading. Okay. I haven't read any Pratchett. Only, well, I say only. I read, what's the book he wrote with Neil Gaiman?
I'm not sure which one.
Dead Omens? Good Omens. Good Omens?
No, that wasn't with him. Was it? Maybe it was.
Yeah, it's Terry Pratchett. And yeah, so that's the only one I've read, I think, of his.
Terry Pratchett wrote part of that. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Amy's got MJ.
Yeah, okay.
So I've read that one, but I keep meaning to read Pratchett because everybody says he's great, but I'm not a big fantasy. Fantasy's right for it. He is fantasy, isn't he? Yeah. I'm not a big fantasy reader, but I would like to be. I feel I'm missing out because so many people read fantasy. I feel like, I must be missing out on something. So,
well, I've tried Terry Pratchett, and I didn't really do too much with him, but there's been radio programs made from his a spin-off of, what is it, an Evil Angel or something like that. I can't remember the name of it, but it was hilarious. It was really good. I enjoyed it on the radio.
An Evil Angel?
Well, maybe not Evil Angel, but a devil or something like that. I can't remember now.
It might be Good Omens, no? It's got a devil. No. It's got a devil and an angel, and
I watched the TV series, and I said the TV series is great. I'm talking about something that was on the radio. It was a spin-off from the his 300 volume series.
Yeah. Yeah, the Discworld, isn't it?
Discworld, yeah.
So Jim's finished Confederates by Thomas Keneally. Keneally, see, that's a name for the misspell. What is it?
Keneally.
Keneally.
Yeah.
I thought I don't know why I kept wanting to read it as the Confederacy of Dunces. You know, like my at the corner of my eye.
That's a good book.
Yeah. Highway Cavalier, reading Moby Dick for the first time. Moby Dick keeps popping up. It popped up like a few moments ago on Ollie Criminoli's channel, and I really want to read it.
I gotta finish watching that video because I got a phone call halfway through it. I gotta go back and watch the rest of it.
There you go, one for you, Sean.
No, not even close to pre-COVID. No, not close. Sadly, even at the best of times, I'm probably doing half of what I used to do at best of times. But if I can do half, I'm happy. But I hate it when the last couple of weeks when I can't, like now, I'm struggling to do any reading.
7 Days in May. I feel like I know that.
Yeah, that's. I think of the author now.
It is a film. I get annoyed the way the films always pop up on Google first. MD Newcomb.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not. Hang on. That's 5 Days in May. 7 Days in June. 7 Days in May. Charles W. Bailey II and Fletcher Knebel. Is that the right one, Joanna? I've lost you now. Where is it? Yeah. Oh, hang on. Where are we? Gone with the Wind. Oh, there we go. That's one I want to read as well. Jim.
I used to have a friend that used to call it the Big Burp.
The Big what?
Big Burp. Gone with the Wind. She was being very polite because she wanted to call it the Big Fart. I've never.
No, Jim, that was rather controversial, mate. You know, I just guess there are some books you're not allowed to touch on BookTube. Kelly, Facing the Mountain, non-fiction about a Japanese-American military unit in World War II by Daniel James Brown. That sounds interesting, and it must have been pretty hard going. I'm assuming were they sent in against the Japanese or did they fight against the Germans? I mean, in some ways, both would make sense to me, I suppose. What have we got here? MJ reading old sci-fi. Now, Sean, is this old sci-fi? No.
Well, he's part of the new wave movement, so he started in the early '60s or late '50s, but so that's not old. No, but he's old now compared to the newer stuff, obviously.
Yeah. That's the one you were reading there, Stucky.
Yeah, what's the name? Like there was a spin-off stories, and it had like a devil or an evil character, and it's comedic. And they made a radio series of it, and it's really bugging me that I can't remember what it is.
I don't know. That's for them, I guess, isn't it?
That's what I'm asking. Yeah, I'm asking because at least sorry, I'm just keep looking at time.
I'm not sure, Peter, if that's a book or the song you're referring to, or
I think that's it, Vincent. I think that is it.
Oh, that's the name of the.
It could be. It could be. Put it in. Put it in. Search Vincent Terry Pratchett. Just make sure. I think that could be it.
Dad. Vincent book. Pratchett. No.
No, I thought because that sounds familiar for something, Vincent.
Oh, I know the one you mean because people have been reading it or wanting to read it for Faustathon. I think it is someone's name, like Eric or Vincent. Maybe hang on. Let me scroll down because maybe someone said it. I'll go up the back there. Hang on. Okay, yeah, they fought the Germans. Well, that makes sense. The book MJ's reading is 1966. Joanna confirmed it was Fletcher Kniebel and Charles W. Bailey II. Peter's reading Middlemarch in his Iron Maiden t-shirt. Steve did a read along of 7 Days in May earlier. Military coup in the USA. R. Stucky just finished Pride and Prejudice last week by listening to me. Oh, that's very nice of you. Thank you very much. Thank you. It was a recommendation from Steve, that 7 Days in May. Moby Dicks are popping up everywhere. And Declan, not exactly book related, but for the Detective Month, what are some more recent television dick, not porn programs you're enjoying?
The only one that's still making some, I think the last series, and I think you could call this, is Endeavor, is the only one that I watch on sort of after it's played, and I think the last series will be played.
I've been watching nothing particularly new, but I noticed there's a lot of things on YouTube, probably illegally, like the old Poirots, going, from the 80s with David Suchet. And I've been enjoying those. I've always liked
I heard someone try to pronounce his name as Suckett.
David Suckett.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like the Thai island. Fuck it, isn't it? Where should we go for holidays? You are here. Fuck it's nice. Yeah. Eric, stylized as Faust Eric, is the 9th Discworld novel by Terry Pratchett.
That must be, that could be it then. Yeah.
The story is a parody of the tale of Faust and follows the events of sorcery, blah, 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 blah. After magical disturbances occur, wizards, devils, demonologists. He's a demonologist, Eric.
Oh,
I don't know.
All I remember is I enjoyed the radio series, and I kept thinking I should look at Pratchett again because of that.
Where are we?
MJ said 1966 for the Samuel Delaney thing. So that's when I was born, MJ. So are you saying I'm old?
Yes. Confederates showed me how ignorant I was of the U.S. Civil War. I'd never heard of the Battle of Sharpsburg and Antietam, the bloodiest day in American history. Well, I have, but only through watching the likes of Vin from Revenant Reads or Bill Rutenberg or somebody else mentions it. But Vin's very big on the war between the states. I'm really enjoying Hidden on the Acorn Network. Great detective thriller series.
Never heard of it.
I've heard of it, but I can't remember what it's about. Peter just finished Chasing Lincoln's Killer. That is an awesome book.
He had that in the video, I think. I saw it in somebody's. I think it must have been your video.
Oh. Have you watched the new Perry Mason? Is that the one with the Welsh actor from The Americans? I think
new
it might.
Perry Mason. I'm assuming that means
it's very dark.
Oh,
it's on HBO. Oh, I guess Now TV probably in England.
I didn't know they were doing
HBO
it.
Max, yeah. I don't know. Has anyone started the House of Dragons? I saw the first episode the other day. I thought it's all right.
What's that?
I prefer Vintage. Sorry?
What's that?
It's the prequel to Game of Thrones.
So he wrote a prequel, but he hasn't finished it.
Yeah, he wrote a prequel before finishing the last book in the series, yeah. Well,
I'm vintage, not old. I'm vintage.
He's milking it. So, you're vintage. I live next to the battlefields of Bull Run. People traveled out from DC to watch it, not realizing how violent and gruesome it would be.
Yeah, Sunday afternoon picnic type. Let's go out and watch people get their heads blown off and their arms blown off. It'll be fun, won't it?
I always remember, and you've read it as well, Sean. I don't know if I can grab it. No. I have a biography of Shaka Zulu by E.A. Ritter.
Yeah.
And when he talks about what intertribal warfare was like before Shaka came along, and it's like literally pretty much no one would get killed. It would be a big family day out. The two like tribes would meet and they would hurl maybe some missiles at each other, but they were pretty useless. They would, show off their naked parts and yell abuse and say smutty things to the other people's women, and everybody would be sitting there eating and across the two fields. And then of course Shaka Zulu turned up with his highly trained force and absolutely stunned the enemy because they were expecting this kind of reception or this kind of day out, and he of course went through and slaughtered everyone. Great book though, great book. What is the last book you read, Sean? What is the last book you read? And then you probably have to go, I guess.
Soon, yeah. I think Treasure Island was the last one I read.
You've got some catching up to do.
Yeah.
I'm halfway through King Solomon's Mines, so I'm glad, Ryan. Yeah, I like it. I thought it was all right. I'm looking forward to episode 2. What was the family that was wiped out? The Snow, the Starks, no? I don't know. Hidden is British Welsh crime drama. It's the first time I've ever heard spoken Welsh, so I'm a little obsessed with it. Well, Kelly, we actually mentioned that a bit yesterday in our chat with Jason. We were talking about Welsh words. It always reminds me of Blackadder. I don't know if you remember that episode where he says, "Have you ever asked for directions in Wales, Baldrick? Well, don't. You'll be washing spit out of your hair for weeks."
Yeah. They need to buy some vowels, or they need to be gifted vowels to put in their words.
Can you say the longest place name?
What?
Can you say that longest place name in Wales?
I have learned it. I have learned it, but I couldn't do it now. But I have learned it and have been able to say it at various times. It's like canali, like I don't even do it correctly. You almost, and it's no disparity. It's like you almost need phlegm in it. It's like an Arabic sound that
I think you're saying Khanefli.
Yeah.
Khanefli.
Yeah, I can't do it now, but I was able to. But it's like not Arab, biblical Hebrew, like a haith, like you half swallow your tongue and say it, and it's not something that
and spit on everybody.
Yeah, but it's not something that people that don't speak that language ever do, so they got to learn it. It's like they're people that know other languages can't say certain English sounds because they're not used to it, and we can't say theirs.
Jim went to university in Aberystwyth, University of Wales. Booknick loves Blackadder. Well, Booknick has extremely good taste. Not the family in the Red Wedding, the family that the song The Red Wedding was describing. Oh, I don't know. I'm lost there. Sorry, Ryan. Llanfair, PG. W and Y are vowels in Welsh. Yeah, it's interesting. But if you haven't Googled it, people, Google the weather report for the longest place name in Wales. And it's quite funny to see the BBC weatherman saying, and now we turn to... and it's quite long. So, but it isn't really a name. I think from what I understand it's more kind of a name derived from describing the location of the place. So it's something like the village or town gets its name from, a small church next to the river, opposite the tree by the lake, so-and-so, that kind of thing. Yeah, so Peter the Book Lover doesn't know what Goodreads is. You don't know what Goodreads is? Oh, Peter, you have to go and get on it so you can track your reading and let everybody follow what you're reading. Well, it is owned by Amazon, is it? I do think it's a bit crappy quality. I think they could probably invest in making it better. It's quite slow. It often doesn't work, and I don't like the way there are many more functions for Americans than for us regular mortals. Like they have a lot more options.
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't use it enough to know.
yeah, it's a bit harsh, really. So you
I'll
shouldn't
go
you
in
go? Don't you have to go, Sean?
about 4 minutes. So if anybody is desperate to ask me something,
Yeah, because I doubt I'll still be here when you finish. To be honest,
yeah.
I can't imagine I can keep everybody entertained for like 2 hours. And probably, a lot of them. I mean, some of them are probably leaving at the thought now that you're leaving anyway, Sean. So,
Well, watch this. As soon as I leave, it'll go to 150.
no, I doubt it. Storygraph has a better star rating. Well, they have more than 5, or
Is that just a separate thing? Oh, I thought it was something that I thought it was like a program you imported or
you
exported.
import your reads from Goodreads, so you don't have to fill it out again. But it is separate.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, from what I understand. So, yeah. What I've noticed a couple of people. What's Booknick doing? He's running. Maybe he's telling you, Sean, you better get running. What do you think of reaction videos on these YouTube channels? I've seen a couple of people have started doing those kind of things. I never know what I'm
in response.
Yeah, when they're sitting there, they like put on another YouTube video and then
Oh,
they sit there and go, ha,
I think that's been on
yes.
TikTok and that for a long time. So I guess they're
Yeah.
finally getting around to it. I've never seen it on YouTube though yet.
No?
No, not on YouTube yet. No.
Oh, that's good actually, MJ. If you can add the half a star, especially, I would quite like to do that.
Oh, I was reading 25 stars, 50 stars, 75 stars.
See, Ryan dislikes them as well. The TikTok reaction videos. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it can be fun. I do like watching, when it's different cultures or different nationalities reacting to things. So, like sometimes watching Americans reacting to rugby, I find that entertaining.
Oh yeah, there's a few that are really good. Where you got the Americans, you get a really diehard British comedian, and they're watching, and they just don't get anything because there's all these references and it's they just you just don't get it. It is hilarious, but I think a lot of it's put on as well to make it entertaining.
I think what's his name, Al Murray. That's a popular one. The pub landlord with his speech about Americans in his stand-up routine, and then watching Americans react to what he says about them is very amusing.
Well, I remember listening to a stand-up routine of Eddie Izzard in New York City, and he said a few things, and all you could hear is the audience go.
Yeah, well. Amy, I think it depends on their intention in reacting to the video, whether I like it or not.
Yeah.
Mark and Sean, what is your sweet spot? Oh, okay, sorry. Okay. If any, for time, decade, or century of reading. See, Declan, you ask this at the moment when Sean has to go, but I can answer for him while he's gone. 1995.
You're going to destroy my reputation. I know that. You're going to tar and feather my reputation.
Look, I suppose, I mean, I love, I know it has problems for some people, but I do enjoy my mid to late Victorian, 19th century British adventure romances. I'm reading King Solomon's Mines at the moment, and it's a joy. It's an absolute joy. I love for Haggard, for example. Just that would be that kind of thing's my real go-to. Sean, have you got time
for
to
me, it's sort of anything 65 and 1965 and before I'm okay with. Anything after it's very sparse. That's why I was saying to MJ that 1966 is new. You know, anything post 1965 is new. Yeah. Oh no, sorry. No, I was listening to a recording of it on uh, possibly on the radio or something. No, sorry, I didn't see him in New York, but he was in New York and he did this stand-up routine. I never saw the show. I never saw that.
I always like his James Mason impression, which probably doesn't go over well now. A lot of people probably wouldn't know who he was. He used to do a really good one. Kelly. Yeah, that's right. I like the reaction videos where Irish people react to American snacks, Americans react to Australian snacks. Yeah, that's kind of funny. I quite like those things as well.
Oh, that was kind of neat. I think Jason had, well, it's long gone now. He deleted the video, but I think Mark Richardson sent at Christmas time some sweets, candies for his kids, and yeah, it was like that. Like, you know, they'd never sort of seen some of this stuff, I think.
Well, I know if I was eating sweets again and candies and chocolates, I've been 3 months off them. But if I was, I would be begging my American viewers to send me Butterfingers. I used to love those.
Ooh.
They must, yeah, but I probably couldn't eat them now. But I would be probably, yeah, just violently ill, and they're probably so sweet. And I never was a huge fan of a lot of American chocolate. I do think the chocolate in Britain is a bit better, Cadbury's compared to Kraft. Is it Kraft? Yeah.
Well, this is something I'll say.
Hershey's, I'm thinking of. Sorry.
I'll say this, and then I do have to go. When I first came to England and I started working, and in a break, I remember seeing people, like, they bring in these chocolates, these quality or whatever, like mini chocolate bars in a can or something, and people would sit there in a break, eat more chocolate than I had eaten in several years previously. I was amazed. And then the first time I went into a grocery store, there are aisle upon aisle of sugar, like of sweets, candies, chocolates, and everything. I was so surprised at this. It was a shock to me. I didn't understand it.
I mean, from the UK, I miss minstrels, revels.
I like minstrels occasionally. Yeah,
minstrels are quite nice. And Maltesers.
I don't like Maltesers.
Maltesers are horrific because you just can't stop eating them. Grab a whole bunch of them. I think a lot is being explained. Actually, Ryan saw Eddie Izzard in New York in 2000.
Oh, so that could very well be the one that I heard.
You didn't know he cross-dressed? Yeah. And Jim, yeah, that's true, Jim. I've heard that. It's funny, isn't it? You can buy a gun in Walmart, but not a Kinder Surprise.
Well, somebody might be stupid enough to choke on what's in it.
You can choke on a gun. What's in it?
Exactly. I've got to go, people, and
all right,
I'll
bye,
Sean. When I'm finished to see if you are still here.
Might be. I don't know. Probably everyone's leaving. Yeah, there's a mass exodus.
Bye, everybody.
I'm still staying. You don't have to leave. All right. Okay. Hi. Yeah. So it's going to be weird being solo now. Don't feel obliged to stay, of course. I won't be offended. I will be, but I have a bottle of salad cream waiting for a reaction video. Okay, MJ. That could be interesting. Something new on your channel there, is it? Alexis, hello, nice to see you. What are your favorite laugh out loud comedy novels? Three Men in a Boat. I don't know why anyone has to ask me that. I love Three Men in a Boat, of course. And if you haven't read it, you really should. But do bear in mind, I will be extremely hurt and offended if you don't like it. What else? P.G. Wodehouse, Jeeves and Wooster. Brilliantly funny. Brilliantly funny. If you haven't read them, you should check them out. And I did find Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy very funny, but I've only read the first book. But as I say, I gravitate more towards the older ones. And yeah, I do find those particularly funny. But tell me, Ryan, there are Kinder eggs in the US, but they're different from what I remember in Germany. So they are probably kinder to Kinder, maybe. Cadbury is superior to Hershey. It is, Amy. I think it is. Apologies to my American friends, but I think that's true. Booknick, mass-produced American chocolate is trash. Oh, okay, well that's all right then. Nobody's sticking up for that, for American chocolate. Maybe it is mass-produced, but that might be after the Americans bought it. No, we'll see. Cadbury is a childhood favorite of mine. I agree with Booknick. Yes, I agree with Booknick as well, for sure. German and Swiss. Well, it depends. I have to say, Ryan. It can be very sickly. I think if you get the dark chocolate, German Swiss, it can be good. I do quite like Lindt. I didn't like it. I didn't like it before, like a few years ago, but I do enjoy it now. So Maltesers, I agree completely, Amy. Completely. Yeah, that's right. Come friendly bombs and blow up the Mars bar factory. I treat myself to jammy dodge. Yeah, jammy dodgers. I used to like chocolate bourbons. Is it? Maybe. Okay, see you later, Declan. Okay, Flo. I don't know if you're still here or, but nice. Kinder eggs are considered contraband at the U.S. Canadian-U.S. border. Well, I wouldn't want to smuggle them in, would you, Amy? Joanna, where am I in the world? I am in the Czech Republic. I am in Eastern Bohemia, which it's about 2 hours northeast of Prague. And I'm probably about 5 miles from the border with Poland. So where I live, it's quite a mountainous area. I live in a town at the moment that's like on the foothills, between two mountain ranges. So we have like the Eagle Mountains, which is where I'm going to be moving to eventually, and it's where I work. And then we have the bigger giant mountains on the other side. The Czech Republic's an interesting country because it is pretty much surrounded by mountains, which of course affords it some, natural protection. Although that hasn't always worked, of course, in the past. Cadbury eggs seem like yeah, I completely agree, Ryan. The idea of one is great, and then it's very, very clawing, and yeah. Yes, I occasionally miss salad cream. Piccalilli's another one, that I used to like in England, and pickle, not the American pickles, the gherkins, but the pickle like Branston pickle, that kind of thing. You're in Maine, USA. Oh, that's very nice there. Alexis, okay, I will. Wonderful. Kelly, you're in Nova Scotia in Canada. Have I been to Nova Scotia? I can't remember. I've been to Prince Edward Island, and I've been to Montreal, Quebec, Toronto, Calgary, Vancouver, and a few other places in between, Jasper, Banff, Whistler, when I was a kid, because I lived in Bermuda and we used to often travel to North America. Well, other parts of North America. I have no idea how to eat it or pair. Well, salad cream, you put it on lettuce if you want to, or you can stick it in a sandwich. So you can have a ham and cheese sandwich and squirt your salad cream inside it. Delicious. Have you tried it yet? It's got a quite bitter, almost vinegary flavor. It's nice. Kinder eggs in the US are split in half. One is the chocolate and the other is the toy. Okay. That makes sense. Agreed. Amy, agreed. Not far from you. Joanna, have driven through Maine a few times. Margaret Pinard's Remnants trilogy is set in Nova Scotia. I haven't read it. Have you read it all, Jim? I just remember it being a pod inside the egg in Germany, about the size of a wind pipe. Yeah, actually, I've seen it in the two halves here. But yeah, when I was a kid, it was wrapped in tin foil and it was a complete egg, and you had to like almost bite in the egg, and there was the pod inside the egg. with the toy. Declan, have you found anything of interest in the? Yeah. There's a few things. I do. The one I mentioned. Did I mention it? Maybe I didn't. No, I mentioned it on my Discord. The fascinating thing for me that I found in that, and that's what kind of put me onto the Library of America story of the week, is I was Google searching Kipling and when he met Mark Twain, and Kipling recorded it. So he recorded the interview with Mark Twain, and that is the story that I first came into contact with, and how I found out about this Library of America story of the week, which I think is a fantastic idea. It's free, right? I mean, isn't that great? I mean, all this stuff is free anyway, of course. You can find it in the public domain, Project Gutenberg and whatever. But I think it's nice that it's been curated and selected by the people at Library of America, and you can download it as well. So it's not, it's not exclusive to them and stuff. So, which is good. Amy, I admit I have seen the movie, but never read the books. My bad. I don't know now. I'm lost what that might be about, but obviously it's to Amy, so it's probably fine. Every time I had chocolate bars in the States, the chocolate has been lighter in color than I'm used to for the same bars in Canada. Yeah, it's odd, isn't it, how you can get the different flavors of things that should be universal. It's like Coca-Cola, usually, tastes different in different places. I don't know why that is. I really don't. Hi, Kelly. Maybe I'm in Millinocket. I know, of course, that's in Maine now, Joanna. So thank you. MJ says salad, meats, cheese, and tuna. Winterland. We now have the US Kinder Eggs in summer season because of the melting chocolate. Yeah, it's tough, isn't it, when you get the melted chocolate and things get stuck together. Milk chocolate, yeah. Sean, you're not supposed to be here. When did he send it? Oh, he's probably still waiting. Terrible. We can't. It's like a stalker, isn't it? I can't stay away. He can't stay away. I sent a big box of US treats to someone in Northern Ireland. I was supposed to get a box back, but never happened. Oh dear. Ryan, you should have waited for them to send you the stuff first and then send the box of US treats. But then I'm struggling. I don't know any treats particular to Northern Ireland. I suppose they'd probably be quite the same across the United Kingdom. I never remember what Miracle Whip is, but no, I don't think so. Probably. Declan, any scandals where you are in Bohemia? Yeah. Usually involving me. Oh, dear. Meat pies sound disgusting, maybe. Okay, that's not for me. That's probably not for me either, is it? Or either. Hello, Nathan. Wow, you're up really late or really early, I would imagine. I read AWOL on the Appalachian Trail. Now, is it Appalachian or Appalachian? Because sometimes I get confused when I'm bombarded by how the Czechs say things and how other people say it. It's like, I always thought it was Appalachian, but then as I say, I hear people here talking, it's like Appalachian, but then that might be because they're being phonetic. Alan's joined us from Portland, Oregon. Guinness tastes better in Dublin. I'm not sure. There's somewhere else where I thought Guinness was really good, and I can't remember where. No, I don't remember. US chocolate preference is milk chocolate, costs less than darker varieties. Taste preferences for milder, sweeter chocolate. Yeah, I don't know. I like Appalachian. Okay, so it's the Appalachian Trail. Appalachian. Or is it Appalachian? The Appalachian. Okay, wonderful. See, I can do it. You've heard both pronunciations too, result different dialects in the States. That's true, isn't it? I think that's something about Alan's mispronunciation video, is how much of that does come down to where people are from and the way they speak. They can't really change things. So, maybe it's not. I guess if you really want to know what's correct, is you go by what, if it's in case of the name, what the person calls themselves, really. So, Nathan, just after 4 a.m., you have something on early today, and then you saw this was like, well, thank you so much for coming along. 4 a.m. I do feel privileged, even if you're up for something else. I rode the Appalachian Trail on a zebra with 0 problems. That's good, Declan. Appalachian. You Brits say everything wrong. I laugh every time I hear a Brit say aluminium. See, this is what I never understand. How do we say things wrong? We are, for example, in my case, I'm from England. I speak English. So surely I must be the right one, no? Mustn't I? I mean, do the Quebecois and the French have this discussion? I wonder. Do they say, the French say everything wrong? I think the problem is that you guys are now bigger than we are, so you can, dominate it. It's the same with Brazil and Portugal. If I was Portugal, I would be extremely offended how on, like, for example, Duolingo, if you want to learn Portuguese, there's no Portuguese flag. They use the Brazilian flag. And I will say it is a pet peeve of mine when I see English and I do see the American flag there, because, it's English from England. So there you go. Maybe I can be controversial on my own. A couple of people didn't like it, so they ran away. Ryan, what's the difference between those two? Appalachia. It's annoying that we can't hear you pronounce them. I had big problems with did you? Yeah, it is something I'm easy to provoke on this subject, definitely. Aluminum. Yes, well, the Queen's English, yes, she is, and she does, or she has. Appellation would be with a so it's like Appalachian Trail. So it's an adjective. So Appalachian's an adjective, and Appalachia is the noun. Interesting. Metals end in ium: lithium, barium, calcium, aluminium. Thank you, Jim. Indeed, Nathan. Although I have to confess, I am somewhat of a Republican. Oops, aluminum. Currently learning French on Rosetta Stone, and it's France French, which will only serve me so far in Quebec. Indeed. Not sure what you're smoking there, Alan. English is Germanic, yes. However, 80% of English is not Germanic. So figure that one out. Nova Scotia has a lot of different pronunciations. Hell, we have a corner of the province that still has spoken Gaelic, and the Acadian French is closer to the Gaul language than Quebecois. Very interesting. I do find that fascinating, how we get so many different dialects and ways of speaking, even in very small areas. I mean, England is one where this is particularly true. I mean, you can go 10 minutes down the road one way, people speak one way, and go 10 minutes down the road another way, and it's completely different. Did you mention school schedule will limit your videos? Sorry, I shouldn't make that joke twice in one day, should I? Did you mention that school schedule will limit your videos? It will. to a point. I mean, I'll try and at least do some pre-recordings and scheduling, and I will maybe try and do this definitely once a week, maybe twice a week with Sean and Steve and whoever else wants to come along. And this is an open invitation to any of you. If you want to do it, just contact Sean or myself, and we'll be happy to have you on, either with Steve or with Jason or without them. And you can be 3 or whatever; it doesn't matter. But it's proved to be really good fun, and I just enjoy it, and it's got a different buzz about it than actually just making and recording the video, because this is kind of the real interaction. I do understand booktubers like Noah from Everyone Who Reads It Must Converse doing this on a regular weekly basis, and I think I would quite like the idea of a Friday, because I can kick back and relax. I could probably move it a bit later if that suits people. I know a lot of people said in one chat that Thursdays was good for them, but Thursday's probably my worst day, to be honest. So generally Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm quite free in the evenings, but Tuesdays and Thursdays I'm quite busy. I just found out that the English actually spell aluminum. I can't even do it now. Yes, we do. Aluminium. Aluminium. How good is my Czech? Oh, it's perfect, of course. You know, I'm an Englishman abroad living in a country that doesn't speak English. Of course, I speak the language fluently. I don't know. I'm curious whether my English is as good as Jim's Georgian or Russian or not. I know my Czech isn't as good as Jim's French, probably, from when I've heard Jim speak French, but I get by. I mean, it is a very hard language. There's 7 cases. So, and, you know, the endings of proper nouns change and it becomes extremely confusing. You know, whether you are going with Mark or without Mark, the name Mark changes, it can change 7 times, and it's difficult. But I get by. I mean, I made a telephone call yesterday to a government, an office of government bureaucracy, and I managed to get what I needed. Shopping, of course, is no issue. And, I can make out with not make out, that's wrong, isn't it? I was going to say make out with my coworkers. I get by with my coworkers who don't speak English, but most of them do. And we generally slip into English because for them, they want to practice their English with me. So I'm quite happy with that, really. And us Americans have slaughtered the English language. Well, I don't know. I haven't a big problem, to be honest. I mean, I joke about it, but I do find sometimes Americans are much clearer when they speak. I think if I was a foreigner, non-English person, when I say foreigner in this instance, if I was a non-British English speaker person who didn't speak English and I wanted to learn English, then I would probably in some ways prefer an American, because I think it's much clearer. When we have the long A's like car, it's almost, I guess, almost New England, I suppose, isn't it? Car, Mark, I'm Mark, whereas, other Americans would call me Mark, have that harder. And I think it's clearer because you can hear more of the letters that are in the words. But there we go. English is a layered language, a Germanic base, Latin from the church, a touch of Danish from the Vikings, and then French from the Norman conquest. Yeah, pretty much. But I would say the French does make up a very large amount of it. I tolerate the Brits, the Queen, the Royals. I admit a lot for an Irishman. It's very big of you, Alan. Thank you. Thank you very much. Aussies have had a hand in dismantling you. Well, the Australians, it's charming what the Australians do with the English language, I think. The way they shorten everything. It's like, what is it? This afternoon, this arvo, all that kind of stuff, I think is kind of good fun, the way they cut up English like that. American spelling is just successful gaslighting. No, that is how we spell it. Well, I think sometimes it's the problem that comes from not having regulated spelling for a long time. I mean, the Czechs have had regulated spelling for a good while. Whereas, I think our spelling regulations probably come in the mid-19th century. So before that, everybody was just spelling whatever they wanted willy-nilly, so it didn't really matter. And that's probably why, we end up in the situation we're in. Yes, I'm enjoying the free-for-all conversation about many issues, but still on books. Yes. Finnish is interesting. It is very much so. Well, it's not too. It is quite unrelated, but it's not too distant from, say, Estonian, which is just over the way, and it's some distant relation to Hungarian. It's a Uralic. Is it Uralic Turkic language? I think. So actually, it does bear some relation to Japanese, I think, and that's really odd. But there you go. My French is better than my Georgian, sadly. Yeah, I would say I would have said my Japanese was better than my Czech, but I haven't used it for a very long time. And my German was as well. The fun for me with German is that, it does exist, like, in my mind, even though I don't use it. So that passive knowledge does come through, especially after a few beers, and I meet some German tourists or whatever, and we can chat away in German. But it's very odd. Declan, it's still early. Declan, are you still working on your Christmas list of books? I am, of course. It's a big list. It's going to take a long time. And actually, I'd like you to tell me in the comments your own views on this, because hopefully you've all got friends and family who buy you presents. Do you like to be surprised at Christmas, or do you want to give them a list? I mean, I'm quite unkind, really, when I hand, for example, my mother a list and say, "Don't deviate, Mum." I want what's on this. So yeah. Steve was kind of naughty though the other night. Oh, he wasn't. Steve. I tell you an English word that threw me off for a few books. I was reading Le Carré, but kept seeing jail. Yeah. Well, if you see the Ballad of Reading Jail by Oscar Wilde, you'll see it spelt like that. Gaol. Is it? With wild regrets and the bloody sweats, none knew so well as I. For he who lives more lives than one, more deaths than one must die. Not just a pretty face, you see. Enjoy your coffee, Nathan. Slang, indeed. It's amazing how many dialects there are on a small island. It truly is. Yes, very much so. It seems maybe you're back from your coffee, or it was a very quick one. But yes, I think it is definitely up there. I think was it the American Foreign Language Institute compiled or put languages into groups of difficulty for English speakers, and it was like Afrikaans and Dutch were the easiest for native English speakers to learn, and then it gradually goes up. And I think, there's Finnish is in the toughest group. Mark is English is in English is more like German, and we don't. Yeah, I think that's very true. Why do British and Australian actors have an easier time of? Yeah, that's an interesting question, and I don't know the answer to that, I have to say. And it does seem true, and I'm glad. I hope Americans agree with that. Though actually, I have to say, I always found House Hugh Laurie to be a bit over the top. I thought that he affected it maybe a little bit too much at times, but Americans apparently did seem to like his American accent. I don't know, but yeah. Georgian's only related to other Kartvelian languages. Okay, which would be what, Jim? Armenian, maybe, or what else have we got? His son uses it as well. Yeah, well, I think I would use it, to be honest. Dutch is easy to learn. Yeah, well, it is, but it's the pronunciation that's the issue for some of them. We have people on the coast of Maine that their local dialect is so thick you can't understand a word. Yeah. Yep, I've had that in England a couple of times, usually up north. You're drinking and painting. Oh, wonderful. A lovely way to spend a Friday morning. When you reach a certain age, I've become less enamored with the idea of a surprise. Yeah, but hungry, just grateful to receive a gift for Christmas. Well, that's nice, Nathan. That's probably better than what I do, I guess. But I do enjoy Christmas. It doesn't matter how old I get, and I have to say, I spent the last couple of Christmases alone, because of COVID and different things. Well, not alone, with Elvis, of course. And I didn't mind it too much. I know that sounds awful. I mean, I love my family to bits, but it was a time for me, because I spent so much time with people, like at work and screaming kids at school and whatever. It was really pleasant to just kind of, for that week or 10 days, whatever it was, just kind of close the doors, get in a load of food, put all the Christmas films on Netflix, HBO, whatever, sit here with Elvis and just, enjoy the peace and quiet. Well, that really helps me, Jim. I don't know what Svan is and Mingrelian are, but I'm guessing they are other languages within Georgia, maybe? Uh-huh. My husband and I give each other a list. It's so much easier. Well, you see, yeah, I do agree with that. That's very kind of you, Flo. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's very true, Ryan. Indeed. In the Czech Republic, women do get a spanking at Easter time. And I made a video on it, actually, somewhere. I think I did. I can't remember. I know I did it for school, one similar. I think I made one also on for BookTube. And it's very true, yeah. Women get spanked at Easter time. And I don't know if I have my willow cane somewhere to show you. And I suppose it's an odd thing, and it triggers a lot of people, of course, these days. But yeah, it's a tradition. There's a more recent tradition where 2 weeks before, in some areas, so like where I live, the women and girls, they go from house to house and spank the men. But yeah, it becomes quite rowdy on Easter Monday. Gangs of men armed with like plaited willow canes, so they've been weaved together into like this phallic symbol. They go from house to house, and the women open, the doors, and young girls too, of course, old women, young women, all women, and they kind of have to present their bottoms, not the clothed bottoms, sorry, and you tap them basically gently. It sounds bad to tap that ass, doesn't it? You tap them gently on the ass, and you recite a poem, Hodi Hodi Dobrovodi, blah, 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 Malovani, I can't remember it. And then the woman will, in a big phallic symbol, will turn around and give you an egg. And she'll also tie a ribbon to your stick. And also, if you are an adult, you'll get a shot of alcohol. And if you're a child, you get some sweets. So it's kind of like trick or treating and this kind of stuff, rolled into Easter. But it's good fun. Although I never understand why we have a 4-day weekend at Easter and they put this event on the Easter Monday. So after you've been doing this all day, you have to, you're pretty drunk by the end of it, of course, and then you've got to get up and go to work on the Tuesday. But yeah, it's good fun. Well, I should say, for men, it's good fun. I think for women, some of them really like it, some of them absolutely hate it. And, teenage girls, for example, often hide under the bed and stuff and avoid their friends. So it must be Christmas every day with a dog. It is, I have to say. And he's the greatest joy in my life, for sure. Usually books, he and I, oh, that's good. That's good, Jana. I can only read in English translations, but I sometimes wonder if I am getting the real story. I think that's very much a case with translations. And I think, was it in one of these we mentioned it, where what does it mean, a good translation? Because most of us don't know enough to say what makes that a good translation. We just know how readable it is to us. So yeah, I've seen the same one, I think, Ryan. She's sitting in the red chair at the end, isn't she, when she does that? Yes, indeed. They can be pretty kinky. Gamayoba is hello in Georgian script. Cool. Sheet. Girls get spanked down at the Dixie City Inn on 3rd and Couch in Chinatown every night. Do they? Okay. Well, it's only Easter in the Czech Republic. No, they don't put the eggs on your stick. They give you a hard-boiled egg that's been painted, and they take a ribbon and tie it on your stick. So it's on Easter Monday to get rid of the old eggs. Yeah, well, no, I mean, of course they're edible. I mean, I quite like it because those hard-boiled eggs, they last for like 2 weeks, so it's perfect snack and stuff to take to work and whatnot. And yeah, it's good, but it is very hard. Like when you try to explain it to people, and it was hard for me, to imagine all these women getting basically beaten on one day of the year. But then when I found out, most of them don't really mind it. The older ladies really like it because the tradition behind it is when you get, the more spankings you get, the healthier and more youthful you're going to be. So they take that on board as a good thing. But there's a lot of strange traditions here. I think you can get quite scarred as a Czech child. I don't know, probably quite a lot, to be fair. I would say 40, 50, 60, probably, at least. Hi, Nancy. Good to see you. Yeah, it's quite often red or brown. I think they use onions to dye the eggs, if I'm not mistaken. We have another one, which is, I think, very wouldn't work in the Western world. Is the Mikuláš, Saint Nicholas's Day, 5th or 6th of December, and here you have Saint Nicholas, dressed up. He looks like a kind of pope, with his big mitre, is it? Yeah, and his beard and whatever. And then you have an angel that accompanies him, and then you have a devil that accompanies him. And parents pay people to come to their house. Yeah, it's kind of a professional thing, and they have a book, and in the book they check off whether the child is naughty or nice. And if the child has been bad, they will take that child and put it in a sack and cart it off for a bit, but then of course take it back. And I was just thinking, what kind of emotional and psychological damage is that doing to that child? And then they mark you with like charcoal, I suppose, yeah, as well on the top. And actually, Ryan's mentioned Black Peter in Holland. But yeah, the Czechs will mark you with charcoal, and the devils are very strange devils. They're kind of a weird character here in the Czech Republic, where when you compare it to the devils in Austria, which are absolutely terrifying. Here they're kind of a little bit more joking. But I was once on the town square here, which is like 2 minutes from my house, and it was probably the most terrifying thing I've ever seen in my life. And it was the Austrian style devils. There was maybe 5 of them, dressed all in black with those horrific. Google Austrian devils if you haven't seen them. Dressed all in black with these masks that really are the stuff of nightmares. And they rode into, well, first off, they sounded this trumpet, and they rode into the town square, like looking like the cross between like some kind of demonic Ku Klux Klan, really, with like these hoods and these masks. And it was terrifying. And one of them was holding like a flame as well. And I was scared. I literally, my blood ran cold. The kids, they were screaming, but screaming with delight because, of course, the devils are throwing, candies and sweets and stuff to them. But my goodness, it was absolutely terrifying. Indeed, yeah, like Krampus, but yeah, horrific. Really, stuff of nightmares. I have quite a few actually in 10 years being here, because you're supposed to use a different one each year. We do it at school though. That's the fun thing. We go around and beat the kids, the girl kids. And then of course, 2 weeks before that, the kids come in, and our colleagues as well beat the male staff members and stuff at school. So yeah. Have you looked them up, Brian, or you've seen them already? They are pretty scary. And to see those at night, lit up with the flame from their torch riding towards you in the town square. I admire those children, because as I said, I was scared. I could have turned and run. And the sound of that horn was just, yeah, really, really. scary stuff. So I don't go there on. I don't go there anymore. Oh dear. I guess it could have been. Yeah, Google's a wonderful thing. Oh dear. Right. Well, oh, Joanna, you've seen them as well, have you? Yeah. Not very nice. Not very nice at all. Probably I shouldn't end the live chat on that note because I'll probably get nightmares. I have a very overactive imagination. I won't watch horror films or read horror books before bedtime, even though I'm in my 40s. I still worry that I might, somehow scare myself. It sounds weird. I don't know, but it can happen. So it's like I wasn't sure when I read Rosemary's Baby whether it was a book I could read at night. Yes, I'm a big softie, definitely. Oh dear. Well, yeah, I guess I will go probably. There's no more questions. I'll give you another 5 minutes. If you have any questions, anything you want to say, feel free, of course, to do so. And I'm quite happy to stay longer, but I just know as well that it could probably be a bit grating having me drone on for 2 hours. So yeah, if you've got anything to say, please feel free to say it. About books, about Czech Republic, about anything you want to know. That awkward silence as hopefully people are typing. Or not. Oh dear. What time is it here, Alan? It is 8:32 p.m. on a Friday night. So I suppose I could I should go to the pub really. Kelly, did I not? What was your question? I thought I thought I said something about translated books. Let me look back. There's a lot of Is this it? Yeah, sorry, I didn't see it. So with the language conversation, has anyone read 2 different translations of a book and the book be completely different? That is a wonderful, wonderful question. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I have. Sean, if he was here, would be a good one to talk about this because I know he's read multiple translations of some books. Just trying to think if I have. No, I mean I read Count of Monte Cristo, but I read it in one translation, and I read one translation of Don Quixote. And now I'm actually realizing how terrible I am in reading translated works. But I'm planning to change that next year. I'm planning on having a French, at least a French, a French year. I think I have to get to some Victor Hugo and others for sure. But I'm not sure. What about you, Kelly? Have you been in that situation? Have you experienced that? I'll just say goodbye to all those who are leaving at this time, but I will stay for a few more minutes because I want to know if anyone has experienced that that situation. Constance Garnett was criticized for making Tolstoy and Dostoevsky sound the same when in Russian they're very different. You see, that's interesting, isn't it, Jim? Because I suppose one could accept that. I mean, I guess you have to. It's a big challenge to translate for a translator to capture the voice of the author. Because obviously if you're an author of many books, you probably keep the same voice. But yeah, I never thought about that. That's very interesting. I like that. No, my translated fiction has just been one translation. Yeah, I haven't read too much, and I need to. I really need to. In fact, the night's still young, so perhaps I will go and read something for once. There we go. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Do take care. Have a great weekend, and I hope to see you all again soon. Good night, or good evening, or good afternoon, wherever you are. Cheers.